If I was to ask you to picture the Rolex Daytona, I'm pretty confident you could picture that watch in your mind. It's got, well, a very distinctive look, doesn't it? And that's one of the reasons why it is an iconic watch, and pretty much almost everyone wants one. That and the fact that it is a Rolex, of course. But the reality is, as much as we might want one, the chances are most of us will never own one, and, well, most of us will probably never even handle one. I spoke to a Rolex AD about the Daytona last year, and basically I was told, don't even try. You've got to be a trusted Rolex buyer, someone who has bought many Rolex watches, someone who never sells them, and basically you've got to have lots of money, lots of Rolex watches, and even then you might still not get one, which is why people often look to alternatives, and there are some incredible alternatives, some incredibly cheap alternatives, and some more premium alternatives. And the watch I've got for you in today's video is exactly that, a premium alternative to the Rolex Daytona. It's not a homage, it's not a copy, there are some striking resemblances, but yeah, I don't think this is a direct homage of the Daytona, but yeah, if you like the look of the Daytona, I'm almost certain you're going to love the look of the Pittsman 3, and the quality is off the charts. And I mean that. I've spoken many times in the past about the quality of Pittsman watches. This has to be their best made watch. I think it's actually their best watch. And there are a number of reasons why I think this could be the best premium alternative to the Rolex Daytona. Now, the one that I've been sent to share with you guys, well, when you look at it, you don't instantly think Daytona, do you? Because it's a sort of avocado inspired version, but there are some more familiar looking versions. This watch was launched with 2 color options. The brand owners now added another 3 color options. The batch, or the first batch I should say, sold out very, very quickly. And if you keep watching this video, you'll understand why people are spending over $1,000 on this watch. Now, to kick things off, I'm going to share with you 5 reasons why this watch is bloomin' special. And I've got to spend a decent amount of time talking about the movement. I don't think the movement's been covered enough in other reviews. The movement in this watch is pretty special. It finds its way into some very nice Seiko watches. It is a Seiko movement. It's the 8R48 or the NE88. And at the moment in the UK, the cheapest Seiko that you can buy that houses this automatic mechanical chronograph movement is the SRQ053J1. It retails for £2,350. If you convert that to US dollars, that's $3,120 US dollars. So why is this movement so special, and why are the watches housing it, not just a couple of $100s? Well, it is an automatic mechanical chronograph, beating at 28,800 beats per hour, 34 joules, 45 hours of power reserve. It hacks, it hand winds. My one is running fantastically well, and that's not really enough of an explanation, is it? So I'm going to get a little bit technical now, only a little bit. I'm not going to go into it too much, but this movement has a column wheel, not a cam and lever system, which is what you'll find in more affordable, more cheaply produced mechanical chronograph movements. It's also got a vertical clutch, not a horizontal clutch, and when compared to older Swiss designs, the pivot distance is longer. These are things that you will find in luxury or premium mechanical chronograph movements. Yes, the ST1901 does have a column wheel, but it doesn't have a vertical clutch. It has a horizontal clutch, and it has shorter pivot distances. So this movement really is a step up, even from the 1901, believe it or not. And let's not forget the 1901 is a hand wind only movement. This is an automatic. Now, there's a lot that goes into movements like this. I mean, physically, not just time and effort and all that sort of stuff. Physically, I mean. So it's quite thick. It's just under 8mm thick, this movement. So that's one of the reasons why this watch isn't, you know, super slim. Although for a mechanical automatic chronograph, it's actually not too thick. So the movement is a huge reason why this is an incredible watch. And at the current price of just, well, $1,200 basically, I think it represents fantastic value for money. Something else to consider, this is reason number 2, it's a modified movement. The date window should actually be at the, well, they say 4:30 position, 4:30-ish position. It never sits exactly at 4:30, does it? Well, Pittsman have modified this movement so that the date complication can be at 6 o'clock. The brand owner is incredibly fastidious, picky, basically. And yeah, he didn't want the date window at that sort of just off 4:30-ish position, and I think it's a great decision. I'm sure a lot of time and effort went into modifying these movements, but it was well worth it. The date window at the 6 o'clock looks awesome, and I love that polished frame around the date window. Number 3, the steel finishing. Yeah, these watches are just generally built to an incredible standard, but the steel finishing in particular is very impressive. I know the brand owner is basically trying to get his watches as close to Grand Seiko quality as he possibly can for, well, a lot less money. And I tell you what, he's not a million miles away. I've owned 3 Grand Seikos. I've still got one. And I can tell you, in my hand, side by side, you don't really see a difference. And reason number 4 is another sort of quality related reason. The hands and those applied indices, they are unbelievable. The hands in particular. Yeah, it doesn't matter how much I zoom in. I mean, the hands have little facets on the ends that are polished. They look incredible when I zoom right in. The transition from brushing to polishing on the hands, again, it doesn't seem to matter how much I zoom in. It's super clean and crisp. I'm not seeing any imperfections. And number 5, the final reason why I think this watch is well worth the money, why it's an incredible watch, the lack of imperfections. I've zoomed into my Rolex Submariner and found an abundance of imperfections. I've found imperfections on the hands, stains on the bezel. The steel finishing wasn't perfect. There was an imperfection on the date wheel. Now, the only thing I found on this watch is a tiny little imperfection on the date window. I think that's about it, you know. So I don't know where these watches are being made, but wherever they're being made in a super clean environment. The watchmakers are clearly going to extraordinary lengths to make sure these watches are assembled to a very high standard, and for that reason I love them. Yeah, again, if you're familiar with the channel, you'll know I love beautifully finished watches, impeccably finished steel, all that sort of stuff. So this watch is right up my alley. Right, let me run through the rest of the specifications because, well, they're not too shoddy either. Sapphire crystal with blue AR coating, and it is a strong AR coating. The bezel is ceramic and it's been beautifully finished. Of course, there is some lume on the watch. I will show you the full 5-minute lume degradation clip at the end of the video, so you'll know whether or not it's any good. It's okay. It's not, you know, dive watch strength, but it's good. Screw down case back, pull push crown, 50 meters of water resistance, lovely case shape, really nice case shape, very similar to the Pittsman 2. They're obviously following a theme with their designs, which I like. Beautiful bracelet as well, a mix of brushing and polishing on the case and the bracelet. The end link fit is incredible, solid end links, solid links, screw pins. You do get some slightly smaller links, so you can get a more refined fit because there are no micro adjustment options on the actual clasp, which is a bit of a shame. That's one weakness. There are some weaknesses to this watch. I've got 3 or 4 I think to list, so I'll list those in a moment, but that is one of them, unfortunately. You can get a decent fit because those smaller links do allow you to essentially micro fit this watch. It's just not that easy to do. At least the screws there, they're not double headed, they're just single headed screws. Beautiful hands, lots of polished surfaces on the dial, the hands, the applied indices, the rings around the subdials. Actually, I'm going to talk about the 3 or 4 weaknesses that I've listed, because the rings around the subdials is one of them. I just think zooming in, they're a little bit, I don't know if they're streaky. Are they supposed to be streaky? I'm not entirely sure. I'd like to see those a bit smoother. You don't really notice it unless you look under a macro lens, so I'm not going to complain too much about that. The heads on the screw pins, they just look a little bit, I don't know, they're just not as nicely finished as the rest of the watch. No micro adjustment in the clasp, I've already mentioned that, and the thickness, but again, that's partly down to the movement. The movement's almost 8mm thick. I mean, it's not a thick watch. And I think if you buy an automatic mechanical chronograph like this, you have to accept that it is going to be thicker than, well, even most dive watches probably. This one's not too bad, but I just think, if there's any way they could shave even 0.5mm off the thickness, that would be good. But honestly, very minor weaknesses really. This watch, I hope you're seeing in the pictures just how good this is. I always try to back up my audio, my speech, what I'm saying about a watch, with pictures, so that you don't just listen to what I'm saying. You can actually see that what I'm telling you is factual. And this was one of them watches that I could have just sat and filmed all day long. I spent about 6 hours taking footage of this watch because it was a joy to film. Every angle, there was some light play, some interesting details. Yeah, it's an incredible watch. So if you are not one of the lucky few people in the world to be offered the opportunity to buy a Rolex Daytona, but you still have a few quid burning a hole in your back pocket and you want a decent automatic mechanical chronograph watch, I think this one is definitely one to consider. Right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you enjoyed this review. I think I've reviewed all the Pittsman watches there is to review now. So, yeah, let's hope they make something new soon. Right, guys, and I look forward to your comments. Thanks for watching.